Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a trip way out to the edge of our solar system to unpack the secrets of Neptune. And let me tell you, if you're picturing some quiet, serene, icy world, you might want to think again. We're about to dive into a planet of deep mystery and just shocking violence.
So right off the bat, here's the central puzzle, the real head-scratcher. Neptune is the most distant major planet from the Sun. It gets only a tiny fraction of the sunlight we get here on Earth. So logically, it should be a quiet, frozen, kind of boring wasteland, right? Well, as we're about to see, Neptune is anything but.
All right, let's set the scene. Neptune is one of our two ice giants, and it's so incredibly far away that in all of human history, only one spacecraft has ever paid it a visit, Voyager 2. And what that one probe discovered, well, it was absolutely mind-blowing.
That number, 4.5 billion kilometers, it's almost too big to wrap your head around. Let's try to put it in perspective. You know Jupiter, right? The fifth planet out. Well, Neptune isn't twice as far or even 3 times as far from the Sun. It is 5 times farther away than Jupiter is. It's no wonder it's completely invisible to the naked eye.
You know, for most of human history, we didn't even know Neptune existed. It wasn't until 1846 that we finally found this massive world. And the crazy part, it wasn't discovered with a telescope. It was found with math.
So here's what happened. Astronomers were tracking the planet Uranus, and they noticed its orbit was weird. It just wasn't moving the way it was supposed to. It was as if some unseen, invisible force was tugging on it, pulling it just slightly off its path. There was a ghost in the data, a gravitational wobble that nobody could explain.
And then this astronomer, Urbain Le Verrier, he basically did the math. Using the laws of physics, he calculated exactly where this hidden object had to be to cause that wobble. He told other astronomers, hey, point your telescopes right here. And when they did, boom, there it was. They saw Neptune for the very first time, proving it was an enigma right from the very beginning.
That discovery was just the start. For more than 100 years, Neptune was just a faint, fuzzy dot. But then, let's fast forward to the late 1980s. NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft flew by, giving us our one and only close-up look, and the pictures it sent back were a total shock.
And this right here really illustrates the core mystery. See, just 3 years earlier, Voyager had passed Neptune's neighbor, Uranus, and it found this pale, featureless, eerily still world. But when it got to Neptune, it found the complete opposite, a vibrant electric blue world of incredible, raging violence.
The first thing they saw, dominating the planet's southern hemisphere, was this colossal storm system, a hurricane the size of our entire planet. They called it the Great Dark Spot. It was spinning counterclockwise, kind of like Jupiter's Great Red Spot, and it was just the first sign of the planet's unbelievably chaotic atmosphere.
Now, to really appreciate Neptune's power, think about this. The most destructive, most powerful hurricanes ever recorded here on Earth top out with wind speeds around 500 kilometers per hour, and we all know how devastating that is.
Okay,
But on Neptune, Voyager clocked winds screaming at over 2,400 kilometers per hour. That is 5 times more powerful than our strongest storms. At their peak, the winds on Neptune are literally faster than the speed of sound.
So this is the big question, right? What in the world is fueling all this chaos so far from the Sun? Well, the answer Voyager found is hidden deep inside the planet.
Voyager's instruments picked up something really strange. Neptune's atmosphere at minus 214 degrees Celsius is actually a little bit warmer than Uranus's, which is at minus 224. Now, 10 degrees might not sound like much, but it's a huge deal. Remember, Neptune is 50% farther from the Sun, so it should be colder. This tells us there's something inside Neptune generating an incredible amount of heat.
So how is it doing that? Well, this is where things get wild. The leading theory sounds like science fiction. Deep inside Neptune, the immense pressure, we're talking millions of times greater than Earth's, could be squeezing methane gas so hard that it turns into solid diamonds. These diamonds then literally rain down through the planet's mantle. All of that falling and rubbing creates friction, which generates massive amounts of heat, powering those supersonic storms on the surface. An internal engine of falling diamonds. Incredible.
And as if a diamond engine wasn't enough, Neptune's mysteries don't stop there. Voyager 2 also found this really bizarre giant moon named Triton, which has its own fascinating and pretty violent story.
Yeah, Triton is no ordinary moon. For starters, it orbits Neptune backwards, the opposite direction of the planet's spin. No other big moon in the entire solar system does that. And that backward orbit is a dead giveaway. It tells us Triton didn't form with Neptune. It's a hostage. It was a dwarf planet, probably from the Kuiper Belt, that just got a little too close one day and was trapped by Neptune's massive gravity.
I mean, the story here is just amazing. The theory goes that Triton might have been part of a pair, two dwarf planets orbiting each other. When they flew by Neptune, its gravity snagged Triton and basically slingshotted its partner out into deep space. And now that gravitational tug-of-war is pulling Triton closer and closer. It's in a slow death spiral, and it's destined, millions of years from now, to be torn to shreds by Neptune's gravity, forming a spectacular new ring system that could be even bigger than Saturn's.
Voyager 2's flyby was absolutely incredible. It gave us this amazing snapshot of Neptune, but it also left us with so many more questions than answers. And you know what? Since that flyby in 1989, we haven't been back.
But the desire to return is definitely there. It's incredibly difficult to travel that far, but there's some really exciting mission concepts being talked about at NASA. One is called Neptune Odyssey, and it would send a long-term orbiter to study the whole system and even drop a probe directly into that crazy atmosphere. That would give us our first dedicated up-close look in decades.
So, I think the ultimate takeaway here is that Neptune is still a true frontier. It's this world of impossible winds, a core that might be making diamonds, and a captured moon on a collision course with destiny. It's a violent, beautiful reminder of how much we still have left to discover, right here in our own cosmic backyard.